Look, obviously, a disappointing finish to the season. Tip our hats to Buffalo. The things we felt we needed to do on the road to win, we didn't do nearly well enough. Time of possession was heavily tilted in their favor. We struggled consistently, whether it was third downs or running the football, and then, we never really had an answer to stop their running game. So when you play in a game like that, you're not rushing the passer nearly as much as you've been accustomed to, and so now it's run, play action. I thought we struggled on first down defense. Offensively, I thought we struggled on third down. Kicking game, I thought we lost that field position battle. So, look, it starts with me, and it's always a tough pill to swallow, especially when it's a postseason game. I'm proud of the fight, and there's a lot of disappointed guys in that locker room. At halftime, I was comfortable with where things were. You're on the road, and we played pretty good red zone defense, forced field goals. But the second half, we just didn't play well enough. Any questions?
Sean, just the fourth down touchdown and the pass touchdown. Do you think that was a completion, or what is your take on that?
I saw what you saw. I mean, it went to New York, and so I saw the same feed on the big screen, so it's hard to tell.
What was your take on the Brandon Jones penalty, which kind of gave additional yards on that drive?
Look, I'll look back on it all and evaluate the game. We talked about you have to have poise in these moments. It's a short game, it's one game, and so we weren't good enough in all three phases, and we didn't coach well enough, and I say that we felt pretty confident coming into this game relative to what we thought we could do, and yet we weren't able to do it.
Why were they so effective running the ball?
Look, we'll take a look at the film, but obviously, whether it was the fits inside or the support, we'll have to, that's a broad-based question because they ran a lot of different runs, and so I'm sure there's a lot of different reasons.
Coach, how do you feel Bo Nix performed in his first playoff game and really embraced the moment?
Yeah, look, he hung in there, he battled. There's some third downs I'm sure he'll want back, some plays he'll want back. It's pretty tough to play that position when the opponent's rushing the ball the way they are and you're not having the consistency. We felt like, man, we had this happens a lot where you have a real good run game plan and you don't get to near hardly any of it. Even that last series, when it's still a two-score game, there's been a lot of times from my experience where, hey, you got to stick to the run, and we run it, and here we are, 3rd and 7, and we didn't execute well enough, and it's frustrating.
Sean, that fake punt pass to Mims
Yeah.
really opens them up. Do you wish you might have gone for it after that next sequence when they get punt it from the 39 and push it back?
Yeah, the down and distance on the next sequence, though, analytically was not in favor of doing it. What that play did is basically put them on the half-yard line. And so there we go. And now we've got to be able to it flips the field. And but unfortunately we couldn't hold them down there.
In their run game, back to their run game.
Yeah.
Did you think the tone of that game was going to be like that in the first quarter?
Oh, I felt like, look, one of the strengths of their team, it starts internally with the QB, with their runner, and those are some of their best players. And so, look, if you're playing us and you're trying to stay out of those third downs where they did a very effective job at that. And now, did I think they would run the ball that effectively? No. But it wasn't surprising because I think it's really, and it's a credit to Joe, Sean, and Aaron and those guys. They've done a really good job in the last year of focusing on their run game and then partnering it with the skill set that Josh has. So I was more surprised at the effectiveness of it.
Does a game like this, Coach, show kind of some of the ground you still need to cover to beat a team like this? Or is it just an element of a vacuum today you just didn't play?
I
well
think,
enough?
look, I think you're constantly evaluating where you're at, where we need to go. You know, my mind's always thinking about what we still need, maybe what's missing, and yeah, I mean, I think all of that you take into account.
The touchdown that was after replay, deemed a touchdown, did that deflate your guys moving forward after that? I mean,
I don't think it deflated our guys. It's a big play. It was fourth down, I believe, right? So, no, I mean, I think you're battling. It was still fairly early. It wasn't, took a minute. I don't know that there was a great angle. It was hard for me to see a great angle. I don't know what the TV copy looked like, but look, we got beat today, and it's always especially in the postseason, that's always a bitter pill to swallow, and yet it'll go down, and then it's got to fuel you and light a fire in the direction we need to go. And look, one of the things we learned early on is we got to find a way to play these games at home. That's another thing that's important.
Sean, just what went into the decision to have Dak make kind of a day today?
Just running style with what we felt like we were going to do running wise. Now you wouldn't know it because I don't know how many handoffs we even had in the game, but we felt like for this game that was something we wanted to do.
Sean, you kind of going about what fuels you. Looking back, knowing your salary cap situation, you kept talking about how young the team was. You got a rookie QB. That's tough after a loss, but can you look at the positives and get excited about building on all the positives that happened this year in 10 wins?
Yeah, look, there's a time for that, but yeah. I'm not finished. We get out of that cap problem. Now, that cap we have available, everyone has available. So it's not like our dollar's stronger than everyone else's. So we have to have a good off season. I'm sorry.
We saw you and McDermott talking after the game for quite some time. Obviously,
I've known him for a long time. Sean cut his teeth under the late Jim Johnson at the Eagles. Jim was a tremendous coach. Steve Spagnuolo, Ron Rivera, those guys all worked. And that was under Andy's staff, and I was at the Giants. So I can't tell you how many games, 4 years, 8 games, playoff games. And then down the road, I end up at some point with the Saints, and I think he's at the Eagles, then Carolina. And so I've known him for a long time. I think he's a tremendous coach. I would consider him a good friend, and he's done a good job with this team.
You said when they're getting chunk yards like that, eating clock like that, does it change your offensive game plan? Because they're
Well,
short.
you're constantly, as a play caller on offense, and vice versa, you have to pay attention to what's going on the other side of the ball. And so early in that game, as you're paying attention to it, it's look, you're wanting to be aggressive, but But as that game unfolded in the second half, then it begins to impact how you can call a game. So that's hard.